Oh, it's not worked. It's not worked. Hello and welcome back to the FPL Tom preview stream. Let me see if I can get Jake in here. Hang on. It's not worked. There we go. It's worked.
Hey.
After about half an hour of technical difficulties, we finally got Jake in here. We can finally see his beautiful face. It's taken long enough. Skype didn't fancy it this evening, so we're on Microsoft Teams. It's taken a little bit of time to kind of integrate everything over. And you know what? We apologise for the delay, but at the end of the day, we're worth the wait, in my personal opinion. Would you agree with that statement, Jake?
Yeah, you're definitely worth the wait. I go through peaks and troughs, and I think thankfully this week is the week that I've fucked up because I can't really have done much better.
No. I think you've earned your place on today's stream, as we'll come on to see. To be honest, me on the other hand, probably going to be on fraud watch this week. So yeah, but in terms of challenge, that went quite well. I think I topped the soggy biscuit league this week.
Oh,
I had
you'll
Ben
have to
White.
tell me how I did if you're on it.
Yeah, let me load it up. I had Ben White, I had Saliba, I think I had Raya and Gabriel, and obviously they did extremely well. I captained Ben Brereton Diaz, so obviously that went quite well. What else happened? Something else happened. I had Havertz as well. I obviously played Mateta in that one.
Oh,
Yeah, we'll come
oh,
on to.
actually, here we go. I've actually managed to get into it myself.
Yeah, where are you?
How many
Third.
did you get?
I got 168. You got 130 in the end.
Oh, okay.
It's pretty good. I think I ended up coming about 2,500th in the world. So it's not that bad. That's not that
It's because
bad.
the captain. It's because the captain. Ah,
Who did you captain? What? Sorry, what's that shirt? Like I can't really make out what it is, to be honest.
it's actually the shirt that I promised last week.
Mm.
Here it is.
Wow.
We said if he scores a goal, Ben Brereton Diaz shirt is being worn.
Yeah.
And lo and behold, he scored, and I captained him in fantasy, so he got me a good 36 points.
Not fantasy. You mean challenge?
Yeah,
You
that's
captained
the one.
someone. I was gonna say. I was like, I swear he captained someone else this week.
Yeah, but no, decent, decent.
Decent, lad. Right, we're not going to mess about because we've wasted all your guys' time this evening. We're going to start off with the most illustrious award of the week. It is going to be Bed Shitter of the Week. And I feel there's very kind of a clear candidate, isn't there, this week, to be honest. A lot of people went with the armband. And yeah, it's not really worked out. But Jake, I'm guessing that's probably going to be your nomination. But I'll let
Yeah.
you do the talking.
Well, I feel like he might be getting back to backs here,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
almost Salah, because yeah, like you say, a lot of people will have captained him. I'm sure there were a few out there that only had a triple captainship left and would have gone for him. Um, and yeah, he's once again been completely invisible because it's not like he's even shut the bed or missed sitters. I think if that was the case, you'd probably blame Nunes. But fortunately, I think a lot of people have realised he is that type of player now.
Hmm.
Whereas Salah, he's just being completely. It's almost like his head's partly in Saudi.
Yeah, yeah, I can agree with that point, to be honest. I mean, looking at the data that he's putting up, though, it's quite good. But on-field performances and watching from an eye test perspective, not there, is it? It's really, really not there at the moment.
Not at all. I mean, I saw a compilation yesterday of how Salah will probably hate his teammates, the likes of Diaz and Nunes, because of the amount of chances he puts on a plate for those, and they've missed really big opportunities. But
Mm.
the past few weeks since he's come back, really, bar that Diaz chance he set up against Manchester City, he's really lacked that as well. So he's just been pretty non-existent, and it's even got to the point where Klopp's not being scared to take him off.
True, true. I think he had one in the Everton game where he played through Darwin and typical Darwin shot straight at Pickford, to be honest.
I know, yeah.
Cool.
But that being said, yeah, he deserves the nomination, if not the win.
Yep, 100% can get on board with that one. I've got Saka on the screen as the other potential candidate for this week. Obviously, he only picked up one assist over the double game week. Trossard, sorry, was the key star. Obviously, Kai Havertz as well shining through in terms of the Arsenal assets. So not a great week from him. I think an honourable mention has to go from Neto from Bournemouth as well. Not playing the second game in the double game week, so coming away with 1 point for his owners. But I'm going to go with Saka. I think, again, was one of the most captain players this game week. And again, not really delivered, did he? Just very, very disappointing. Again, both of these players have had phenomenal kind of seasons if you look in terms of numbers, but recent weeks, both of them probably been pretty dismal.
Yeah, definitely.
Right.
Yeah, they're both up for it. But I think, unfortunately, one of them actually did something, and I think that can be overlooked when you're in a team that is dominating at the moment, whereas Salah's just not. But like, at least you could look at Saka if they were struggling and be like, he's been really poor, blah, 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 blah. But with Salah, Liverpool have been poor, and he's still not pulled anything out. And it's not like you can point the finger at him and stuff and be like, he should be the leader and stuff, but it's you get away with it when you're winning games.
Yeah, 100%. The poll is now up for you guys to go and vote. I can see a few votes have already started flying in, and Salah already leading the way on that one, so quite heavy on that. A Turkey in the Bush says, I had Neto starting and Edison on my bench, so feeling the pain of that one with the honourable mention. Liam's in the chat as well. I can see George as well, another one of our members to the channel. If you want to sign up for membership, it's 99p. You get a nice cool little emoji next to your name. You also get, some other perks. You get the emojis. You get priority in the chat. It's a pretty cool thing. I can't lie, for 99p.
Yeah, it just stops you getting that. What? It's less than a chicken mayo.
It's less than a chicken mayo. It's cheaper than some Birds OnlyFans, which you're probably out there buying anyway. You're probably paying £3 to see some girls' flaps, when in reality.
Well, it's probably cheaper than the girls that say their OnlyFans is free.
Yes, yeah. And unlike a porn addiction, I don't have any long-term kind of effects.
Well.
Yeah, well, there is that. Probably like mental depression or something. That's usually what I lead to.
No, you're in a good place, Tom. Don't be like that. You're just starving yourself at the moment.
Yeah.
Big cut season.
Exactly. George Kent put, Tom showed me his Big Willie the other day around the back of Tesco. Well, that's kind of that's the calibre of chat we've now got as well, isn't it, really, from our members? It's a sophisticated bunch. It really, really is. Dear. Sean said shitter of the week. Does he? He's never watched this stream, has he? He's usually out. Come on, mate. Get with the program.
Is he laughing at the fact that we've created that?
Yeah, he's in the chat. What's this? Watch the stream, mate. Watch the stream. You'll learn. You'll learn some things, sunshine.
Have a word with Nicholas Jackson. He'll tell you from back in the early days.
Yeah,
he's the OG.
Yeah, he's the OG. I'm thinking with a lot of people kind of picking him up as well on wildcards, he might start making himself
true.
Potentially an option as well. Cool. Right, let's move on to your team, Jake. I think you've been waiting for this moment for a very, very long time. Do keep the questions coming in. We will answer some of those throughout today's stream. Jake, and it's not worked. Of course it hasn't. Like, you fix one thing and then the other thing doesn't work. There we go.
It's just difficult.
Bosh. There we go, Jake. There we go, mate. 142 points. A 900,000 rank gain, by the way, which is absolutely unreal. Go for it. Talk me through what went well, my friend.
Yeah, I think I'd find it a lot easier to talk about what didn't go well. And that's mainly the Liverpool boys. And, of course, I have to swallow my pride to some extent that the guy that commented the other day saying maybe it was overkill with the Sheffield boys. It probably was, because I benched Solanke, who you were massively keen on playing.
Yep.
And I played McBurney, who did absolutely nothing. And I think we were both always going to have Ben Brereton Diaz. That paid off eventually. But yeah, probably overkill. He was probably right. I'm happy to give him that, considering the fact that everyone else did absolutely fantastically. Yeah, and I think I've got to give you a shout out, to be honest, because I had in the preview stream last week, I believe I had Saliba instead of Ben White. And then we had a little look at the stats, and Ben White was like third for chances created. So I was like, you know what? I'll take FPL Tom's advice, and lo and behold, he got me 26 points. So, yeah, taking my hat off to you. I think the only thing that I could never have imagined was that Everton would keep back-to-back clean sheets. So, yeah, I think that's the only place I can really be critical. But that being said, I think I can't really complain about how my week's gone.
No, I think there's very, very little for complaints, to be honest, mate. You've got all the highest scorers of the weeks in there. Some rogue shouts that have just worked out for you as well. Obviously, we spoke about there the Ben White one, Diego Jota as well over Luis Diaz. Just massive, isn't it, to be honest?
Yeah.
Now, top 1 mil finish is definitely on the cards for you, mate.
Where am I now?
1.291 million. You still got a
Wow.
bench boost left over. I reckon it's on. I reckon it's on.
Well, we both know that my luck is 1 step forward, 7 steps back. So we'll hold that tightly. Put a pin in it.
All right.
But let's get ahead of ourselves too much.
Okay. All right. That was the free hit team for this week. Let's just all of a second give Jake a massive round of applause because it is honestly an incredible score, mate. So I'm glad you'll be able to look back in a few years, show the kids, hey, look at this, I run FPL Tom's stream. I got 142 points, you silly twats.
I've already queued it to be printed and laminated and framed.
Play it at your funeral. Play it at the funeral, mate. You know what I mean?
Probably will.
Yeah. Yes.
Well, it'll probably be down to you, mate. So.
Well, let's go with that. Let's go with that. Right, let's move away from the positives, and let's move on to this week. And again, it's not loaded in, but that's fine.
I mean, away from the positives and look at this week. I don't think my team looks awful.
No.
I think I've just got to be sensible, really, with my transfer. I was tempted to hold off this week and maybe do a double next week, but I'm open to all suggestions. I think I'm happy with the spine of my team.
Yeah.
I'm quite happy with my midfield. I think the only person I'd be willing to take out there, I mean, I know you could say Salah's just such a clear option to take out, but I think if I wanted to do that, I'd do it later on maybe and just see how Bruno does over the next game week.
Yeah.
Gibbs White's also someone that clearly, he's got a really difficult game, but they do have Sheffield then the following game week, so it's just, I think that's someone I could potentially take out later on in the season. I like my front three. I mean, Mooney's, Fulham have been a bit hot and cold. Palace have been brilliant, but they are only brilliant at home, it seems. Muniz does seem to be decent at home. So I'm not... I think the person I want to bring in is someone from Newcastle because I'm looking ahead at game week 37.
Yeah.
And their double is good. They've got Sheffield United this weekend. Isak would be a brilliant shout. But I think if I was going to do Isak, I'd probably be more keen to bring him in for Haaland, but then that's just me going against myself for the doubles. So I was then considering maybe I bring in Gordon, but then I don't know who I'd want to take out and whether taking out Salah for Gordon is actually worth it when I can probably do that later down the line and just give Salah that extra game week because West Ham aren't necessarily very good either.
No.
And now that we seem to have waved goodbye to any chance of top 2, we'll probably play absolutely brilliantly. So I'm willing to keep him in for another week. So that leaves me with the defence, which is probably the place where I'm most weak. Where I messaged you before and said that I was considering maybe a Fabian Schär move.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's some food for thought for you.
All right, I'll give my kind of 2 cents on the topic if you like.
Yeah.
I think Haaland's a difficult one. Whether or not he's going to play, apparently he's been pictured in training today. Guardiola was very kind of shielded with his comments as well, so he could play realistically in the game against Forest, but he might also be on the bench. So that one I get is a little bit risky. Isak probably is missing from this team. Newcastle at home are a different beast in terms of chances created, XG. Him and Gordon as well are both fantastic options at home. And, Muniz, he has been missing quite a few opportunities recently, but when I've been watching the highlights of Fulham games, he always seems to be involved. So I do feel like it is a matter of time before he does have kind of maybe a brace or just a goal in him. Because it's been a while since he's obviously got on the score sheet, quite a lot of 2s, consecutively back-to-back. But when you watch his performances, he's definitely, getting involved, creating plenty of opportunities and always seeming to be in the right areas. And I do think it is a matter of time before he gets himself back on the score sheet. So a little bit of a difficult one. On paper, you would say Ollie Watkins would be the player to take out. But Chelsea defensively all season long have been absolutely disastrous, haven't they, to be honest?
And he just scores against anyone. I benched him against Arsenal and he scored. Whenever I seem to bench him, he does pop up with a goal or assist. I don't think I actually played him. No, I do think I played him against Brentford. and I think he scored twice there. Like, he just seems to be that ever present. Is he still top, or is Palmer overtaking him now for top scorer overall?
No, I think it's Palmer and Haaland on 20 at the moment. So, but he's definitely
Yeah.
in the golden boot race. So, you know.
Yeah, most certainly. But yeah, like you say, if it was away to Chelsea, as much as Chelsea had been a bit of a shambles, I'd be more keen to take him out because, like you say, Villa don't have the best of running.
No.
But that being said, he could still score in any of the games. I say that they don't have the best of run-ins. They've got Liverpool at home, and he's bound to score there. Brighton have been really stinky. I saw your tweet earlier on. So actually, maybe I'm looking at that completely blind, and actually Watkins has got quite a tasty run-in for him, racing for this golden boot.
Yeah, 100%. And then the final player I would be flagging is Gusto. It looks like he's going to be out for game week 35.
Both games?
Both games, yeah.
How confident would you say? Like, is it worth me just getting rid?
I think I'd keep him around because obviously Chelsea got the double in 37. So he should be back for that one. So I think I'd probably maybe look to get rid of Doherty or a Steve.
Yeah. Well, also, next question would be, would you have a Newcastle player at home to Sheffield? Am I wise looking there, or should I be looking at someone from Spurs, maybe?
I think the only player I'd probably look at defensively from Spurs is Porro. Other than that, I'm not too keen on any of their other assets, to be honest, outside of Son and Porro.
But would you say Porro's a better shout than Cher, maybe, because of the double?
Potentially, like we've seen how profitable double game weeks can be, but Spurs defensively are not good. I would not bank on them keeping a clean sheet in either of those games that they've got coming up.
Yeah. But I think, who have you got? I can't see the screen, but who have you got as my captain?
I've put it on Palmer.
Yeah. Okay. I think that's who I'm going to stick to be honest. It was only between him and Son, but I think I'd just be trying to be a little bit different if I went for Son when Palmer's pretty clear.
Yeah, he is pretty clear. We've got some stats later to kind of back that up, and I definitely think that'll seal the Palmer decision. But I think it's a tough call, really, who to go for there, Shaw or Porro. I guess it depends what else you want to really do with this team longer term. Like you've mentioned Bruno Fernandes, that'll probably be for Salah. So I don't think money's going to be necessarily an issue in future game weeks coming up.
Yeah. But yeah, taking Haaland out's definitely not happening, even if he doesn't play this week, because I just think that I would be shooting myself in the foot, really, considering they've got their double.
Yeah, 100%. He's probably going to be a captain that week, realistically, as well, isn't he?
You'd think so, unless Mateta makes it in.
Unless Mateta makes it in. I know you've obviously got like kind of a fond relationship with Morgan Gibbs-White, but do you think maybe his time's up?
I don't actually, because they've got Sheffield United next after this City game. I won't be playing him. I highly doubt he's going to make that starting 11. I think I'd be more likely to put Haaland in just in case.
Yeah.
But of course, I still haven't made my transfer, and I like Aït-Nouri at home to Luton. I don't mind Dunk away to Bournemouth. It's not ideal, but it's not the worst thing in the world. And I just feel like, to be fair, if you're saying Gusto's a doubt, it may be Haaland that comes in instead of anyone else, along with a defensive transfer. But yeah, I think I'm going to keep Gibbs-White just for this next 2 game weeks, at least.
Okay, no worries. That's fine. Cool.
Thanks for your consent.
Yeah, consent. Oh, is that what we're calling it? Is it these days?
Well.
Wow.
Moving on.
Moving on. Remember, guys, always get consent with anything in life, not just FPL transfers. Got some questions before we move on to my disaster class of a team. Maguero said, is Gusto going to play against Aston Villa? Probably not. It looks like he's going to miss double game week 35 from kind of the comments from Pochettino today. And he's also said Munez's XG is really good at home. So maybe some more food for thought for you there, Jake.
Who did he say?
Munez.
Poch.
What's up with you?
Muniz, the Fulham striker.
Yeah.
And Poch was talking about him.
No. You've heard 2 different sentences there. So the Poch one was for, is the Gusto one going to play, right?
Right.
And then Muniz is just a separate comment that the same guy made.
Saying he's hot at home.
Yeah. You now with me? You back in the room?
Yeah, I just don't want to tempt fate and go on the YouTube and stream it, and then my computer just blows up.
Fairs.
So,
Cool. Should I get Dan Burn or Van der Veen? What do you think of that one, Jake?
I probably have neither of them. I think if you had to choose between the two, I'd probably go Burn, just because he's more likely to. I think he's probably just picked Van der Ven for goals scored, and like you said, Spurs are very unlikely to keep a clean sheet against Arsenal and Chelsea. Yeah. Whereas Newcastle have Sheffield at home. Sheffield, of course, have been scoring of late, but they seem to be going down with a bit of a whimper.
Yeah, 100%. Bashir says, hello, Tom and Jake, and he also compliments your massive score. So, big shout out from him. And then someone said, play Gabriel or Van Heck this week. Who have Brighton got? That's the big question.
They've got Bournemouth away.
I think I'd be playing Gabriel, you know. Arsenal, best defence in the league. 2 clean sheets in the past 2 games as well over double game week 34. Defensively as well, just very, very solid side, aren't they?
The type of game where a centre-half scores a set piece.
Yeah, I can get on board with that. And as well, obviously, the tweet that I put out earlier about Brighton being pretty naff this calendar year. 3 wins, I think only 2 in the last 10 league games as well. It's pretty dismal reading from a kind of Brighton perspective, kind of looking in there.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. Right. Warning. We're going to move. We've seen Jake's team. We've all given him his kind of congratulations. We've applauded his great work. Now we're about to see probably the worst moment I think I've ever done in FPL. And I genuinely mean that. It is up there with one of the worst moments I think I've ever done. This is my free hit and the war crime on my bench that has been committed right there. 89 points in the end. I think around about a 40,000 rank decrease. So not the biggest one in the world, but realistically, this free hit was all about getting as many points as possible. And it's just not worked out. It really, really hasn't. A lot of the picks that I've made have just gone terribly wrong, or a lot of the split decisions that I was chatting last week in the stream about and chatting to Jake about on Snapchat as well have gone completely wrong. But let's start off with the positives, right? Raya and Gabriel, I went with the double Arsenal defence. They did exceptionally well. Obviously, it wasn't Ben White's points. It is what it is. That's fine. Muniz or however you want to pronounce it from Crystal Palace, he got me 7 points. Happy days. Very happy with that. Robertson was the one that I brought in very late on for Trent. I thought Trent wasn't going to feature in both games. I thought with him just coming back from injury, maybe Joe Gomez would see some minutes. And of course, he goes and gets himself a goal. Yeah, so that's a sticky wicket. That's sticky wicket number 1. Eze, perfectly happy with that pick. I'm very happy I went for him. Was always going to go with him. Luis Diaz was piss poor. Saka, I literally tweeted it saying, why should I go for him? His data's been absolutely honky. I was considering going for Kai Havertz over him.
You said that. I remember you saying that.
We went with Saka. I also, interestingly, was looking for our messages. I said to you on last Friday night, I might go Bruno over Saka.
Yeah.
And here we are. Here we are with that one. Salah captain, I feel a lot of people were in that position, so don't feel too aggrieved by that. Ben Burton Diaz, very happy. I was very adamant Sheffield United were going to score in one of their games and Ben was going to be involved.
Well, we both said they'd score at Old Trafford.
We did indeed. We did indeed. We saw the data. We saw that Manchester United, are one of the worst defences in the league. We knew Sheffield United were going to go and score, and we backed it, and it worked out. You know, maybe that's a reason to subscribe and maybe listen to our high quality advice. Just saying. And don't look at the bench right now, but just listen to the words that I'm saying, okay? Solanke, again, I was probably a little bit bricked up over him. I was tempted to captain him as well last week. He did only get the 1 goal, but could have maybe had some more as well. Then let's talk about the rest of the team. I, in all of my wisdom and stupidity in the end, went with Isak over Mateta. Realistically, I was never going to play Pickford or Tarkowski over anyone else in this team.
No, I was going to say that your bench is a bit deceiving because who would have thought that Everton would do that? I think you'd only have Everton players in if you were struggling for players, didn't have a free hit, and you had a centre half for Everton most likely.
Yeah.
Like, the person I played in the head-to-head didn't have a free hit, had Branthwaite, got him 20 points, happy days. But having the free hit, you just had the Everton players in case they could come on because they both had a double, both at home. But who would have thought that would be how they played in both the games?
Yeah, 100%. But the big decision was Isak over Mateta. I just looked at the Crystal Palace games. I remember messaging you and going, they've scored 6 goals in like their past 5 games. And everyone's sat here with like triple Palace attack for some people with Eze, Elise and Mateta. And I'm just sat there going, no, this feels like a trap. It feels like a scam. I'm going to be a little bit clever here. And I'm going to put Alexander Isak in because he's been doing exceptionally well. Palace, he might do well in that game. They'll have a little bit of a rest at the weekend. Instead, I've come away with like a loss of 27 points realistically.
29. Well, yeah, I get it.
The two for Isak, which is it's just disastrous, isn't it? To be honest.
Yeah, it's an interesting decision, that one, I must say.
Yeah.
I think I said that to you at the time, just being like, I can't believe you're playing Isak. I get it. He's in great form, but the bottom line is Palace have 2 home games. Newcastle have an away game. It is going to be, he's up against it already from just those stats. But, I mean, it could have worked. It could have worked because, like you say, Salah had 2 pretty decent games on paper. Bruno had, I know, an easy game on paper, but only 1. And you were flirting with that. So, like, taking those risks and those gambles could have worked if only you'd done it the other way around. So I think it's just one of those, really. Like, who'd have thought Mateta would get 29 points in a double game week? Like, even I didn't think that. I expected a goal and assist at the very most.
Yeah, I think that now puts him 6th or 7th highest scoring player in a single game week of all time.
Wow.
Yeah, pretty special from him.
I saw the top person triple captained him. He got like 87 points for him.
Absolutely ridiculous. I think he's gone level with Darwin Núñez as well for points for the season now, Mateta.
Yeah, ridiculous. Well, he's definitely more clinical.
Ridiculous. Right, let's move on to let's move away from that and never ever open that page up again. Let's take a look at how my team is lining up for this double game week. We've got Petrovic in goal. Gusto's currently in there, but he's obviously got the flag, so it's probably going to be Branthwaite coming in, or maybe someone else. We'll talk about my transfers in a little bit. Gabriel, 8-0 up against Luton. Then we've got Gordon against Sheffield United. Son with Arsenal and Chelsea. Salah, interestingly, will be staying in the team this week, and I will come on to talk about that in a little bit. Palmer with the armband. He's the best pick in my personal opinion this week. Don't bother looking elsewhere. Haaland's currently in there. Solanke I'm going to be keeping as well after looking at Brighton's past few results. They have been very, very stinky. So I'm expecting some good stuff from him. And then Alexander Isak, a player I feel is absolutely essential this game week, in my personal opinion, for, what's this game week? Double game week 35, in my personal opinion. In terms of the transfer that I'm thinking about making, it will be... Let me just turn that back up because I saw my mic volume had dropped off a cliff. In terms of my transfer this week, I'm probably going to do a Doji to Pedporo. A Doji out for the season. Not really gone too well, that transfer, to be honest. So we're going to take him out, put Pedporo in. He'll replace Gusto. And then that will be the starting lineup for this week. Any kind of thoughts on that, Jake?
You're not fancying Everton at home to Brentford?
I feel like they'll be hungover from their big win. Do you not feel that?
I think in that situation, I'd be intrigued. I'd be tempted to play Branthwaite over Gabriel.
No. I think that one. I can't get on board with that one.
Fair enough. Who's it? United have got Burnley.
Burnley, yeah.
Oh God, that stinks of a Garnacho goal, mate.
No, look at everyone. Look at everyone. Who's he coming in for? Who's he coming in for there?
Probably Salah over everyone.
No. I'll show you why.
You've just got to leave it down to fate, because Haaland will play or he won't.
100%.
And if he doesn't, then you may benefit from it.
Yeah. What do you think? Is there any changes you'd make if this was your team sat in front of you right now?
Yeah, I think Pedporo is a sensible one. I think that's who I'm tempted to go for.
Yeah.
It would be nice if I had Isak in my team, but like I say, I just don't think I can bring myself to take out Muniz for it. I don't want to miss out on something there. and when like I feel like there are better options for me to focus on.
Yeah.
Not saying that Isak isn't a crucial person to have. If anyone has the option to bring him in, then I'd definitely back it. But just for me, I think there's other places I need to strengthen. But for you, yeah, I think that is the right place to be changing, to be honest. I could understand why you'd go for Bruno as well for Salah this week, maybe, but I get why you're keeping him in if you've got defensive issues that you need to address first.
Yeah, I think they're more urgent, to be honest. Get another double game week player in, and we will come on to talk about it. And you know what? We can come on to talk about it right now.
Just quickly though, before you do, would you not be worried? Like, would you not be? There's a very good chance that Bruno gets a goal and assist or something against Burnley at home, and that Salah does nothing yet again. Yeah. Would you be tempted to -4 there?
It is running through my mind, but I'm gonna offer the kind of data argument so you can see why I'm thinking. Yeah, let's run through this. This is team data over the past 5 game weeks. These are the worst teams on the top. These are the best attacking teams on the bottom. And as you can see, Liverpool are clear. Like, I know they played another game more, but they are clear. 15.2. I think the pressure now will be relieved after that Everton game as well. West Ham also worst team for XG conceded. Everything to me seems like it's just adding up behind the scenes in terms of the data. Everyone's kind of looking at this narrative at the moment where Liverpool have bottled it. They're out of the title race completely. It would not surprise me to see them absolutely go and demolish West Ham.
Batter West Ham in vain.
100%. 100%.
I could see that as well, to be honest, but I could also see us once again stumbling.
I get that.
It can go both ways.
I think it's the past 3 or 4 games you've actually won on XG as well. So I do feel like it is time where you do put in a strong performance and actually win the game.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's not uncommon for us to have a bit of a hard time at West Ham. That is the only thing I would say.
Yeah.
If it was at home once again, the chances would be clear there. But I do feel like it's not a write-off, that game, as much as the stats may suggest otherwise.
Yeah. All right. Okay.
I understand why you're keeping Salah in. I do get it. You've got defensive injuries that you need to, like I say, you need to address. So I think focusing on that makes sense.
Yeah.
It's similar to me with the Muniz and Isak issue. I'd say probably yours is more clear for you to focus on your defensive issues, because it's one of those where Bruno could do better than Salah, but actually your defensive changes are probably more urgently needed.
Yeah, I can get on board with that. Looking at some other interesting teams on the XG con column, Luton and Sheffield United, I feel, are pretty self-explanatory. There's a reason they're on there, and there's a reason they're down the bottom of the table. Sorry, Manchester United, they've moved from bottom, but it's not by much, is it? It really, really isn't. Defensively, they should be a team you probably shouldn't be backing too much.
No, but at the same time, they are scoring goals, to be fair to them, and Bruno does seem to be in decent form. Their attackers do seem to be a little bit wet at the moment, but I would say Bruno is definitely someone that is worth the punt on, especially with the double game week coming up.
Yeah,
and home to Burnley. Burnley aren't much better. I'm kind of surprised they're not in there. Probably helps that they played Sheffield United in the past few weeks.
Yeah, it's bumped them out of it. Another interesting team on there is Brighton. Now, obviously, it's kind of leading back to the tweet that I put out. They've been exceptionally poor since the turn of the year, and over the past 5 game weeks as well, leaking a lot of chances. Now, I know they played City, which is always going to slightly skew it, especially when City go and put 4 past you. But again, maybe some people this week potentially considering playing Brighton assets against Bournemouth. I probably would be against it, to be honest.
Yeah, no, I'd understand that completely. I think it's one of those where I'd 100% not bring someone in for Brighton. But when I've got the issues I've got in defence, I think Dunk will play because he can always pop up with a goal.
Yeah, I can get on board with that. Right, moving on to XG4. Obviously, we kind of briefly touched on Liverpool. Interestingly, Chelsea sat in second place. I think that bodes well for people potentially going for Cole Palmer, Nicholas Jackson as well this game week. I've seen him in quite a few wildcard drafts. So, they are creating the opportunities. But whether or not they'll actually be able to put them away is a different kind of story, isn't it?
Well, Jackson is literally Darwin Núñez for Chelsea. Like, it's the same kind of player. They do create chances. They do make the runs, but they just don't finish the dinner. And I think Chelsea proved to everyone on Tuesday night that they are a one-man team, and Cole Palmer being back will mean that the chances will most likely be finished.
Yeah, you'd hope so. The other team I wanted to call out were Newcastle United on here. Obviously, they've had some good fixtures kind of leading into this game week, but now it's where it really, really gets sexual and tasty. Double game week coming up. Sheffield United this week, and they're already creating good opportunities.
Bramall Lane, it was at 8-0 or something.
It was something ridiculous, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Really, really ridiculous.
Yeah, so that'll definitely be in their minds.
Exactly, 100%.
Yeah, I agree. I can't argue with anyone having Newcastle assets for the end of the season. I really can't. I think they've met Palace away at a bad time because Palace are in a little nice purple patch for their season. But yeah, I think they'll bounce back in flying colours. So anyone considering a Newcastle asset, especially attacking wise, I'd definitely back it.
Yeah, cool. Right, before we move on to the next section, let's answer some of your guys' question. Apparently Leeds are losing 2-0. Happy days.
Oh, that means it's in Ipswich hands again, which is nice.
It is indeed. Anton's asked, do I replace Salah with Foden or Gordon? I have Shaw and Isak, but no City players if that affects the decision.
I would probably... To be honest, if you're oohing and ahhing over Gordon and Foden, there is the option of always holding with Salah because we've seen the stats. West Ham are bottom of XG. They're the top of XG conceded. Liverpool top of XG created. We've just said that there is a big chance Liverpool could just absolutely demolish West Ham. Of course, you've got to look at devil's advocate and see that they could bottle it again, but there is that option that you could just hold, and then if Salah does do something, then you've done well. If he doesn't, you can then bring Gordon and Foden in without taking a hit in time for both of their double game weeks.
Yeah, okay, yeah, I can go.
If you had to choose, if you're going to take Salah out, I'd probably say Gordon.
Yeah. I think with Gordon's home record as well, I think I'd be very, very tempted this week. Cool. Bashir said he also got lucky playing Mateta because of Cunha's injury. Nice. Well done to you. FN has said, I want whatever Jake has before each stream. What's the secret, Jake? What are you having before each stream?
Cup of tea.
Nice. Yeah. Tea. Yeah. Sure. Yeah. Katie's asked, Cunha or Mateta?
Mateta.
Yeah. He's in his purple patch, isn't he? Really is.
But that being said, I probably I think you should be looking at the likes of Isak, Haaland, and Watkins at the moment. I think they're the top three, maybe even Solanke in there. I think those four will come ahead of Mateta and Cunha. But if you are looking for someone cheaper, then yeah, I'd probably go for Mateta.
All right, okay. And final one, thoughts on Emil Kraft from Newcastle?
I'll have to let you take that one, mate, because I have no idea how much he plays. I have heard his name thrown about a little bit. But...
I think he's been playing. Let me just go check. Obviously, they've got no one really at the back, have they, Newcastle at the moment?
Yeah.
Let's have a look at this. To be fair, he's playing 90 minutes pretty consistently at 4.4 million.
It's not a terrible shout then for a cheap boy, but if I feel like he's one of those, it'll be the first name that leaves the side in defence if one of the first teamers come back. But that being said, I feel like a lot of their defenders are out for quite a long time.
Yeah, I think both Botman and Lascelles are out for an extended period. I think I would prefer Dan Burn, who's the same price.
Yeah, definitely.
Has a little bit better attacking data as well. So
and he just plays come rain or shine, doesn't he?
Yeah, 100%. Oh, we've had some more, so We'll answer them before we finish. Get Gordon for Havertz?
Get Gordon or Havertz?
No, for Havertz, sorry.
I'd probably say no, because Havertz is in good form at the moment. I think if you're going to get Gordon in, I think there should be some other options there, but I would probably keep Havertz in at the moment. Why would you take someone out that's scoring for fun and scoring twice against Chelsea?
All right, okay. Final question before we move on to the final segment of today's preview stream. From Neil, he's asked, who would you bench this week? Sorry, Salah, Saka, Gordon, Haaland, Isak, Mateta, or Eze?
Remind me, who is it Palace have got?
Well,
for the money?
I'm going to answer it for you.
Go
on. Eze's injured, so that would be
go.
the pretty easy option in my personal opinion.
Yeah, and Haaland is a doubt, isn't he?
Yeah, Haaland's a doubt, so I think that answers that very easily, to be honest. Right, let's move on to the final section of today's stream. We're going to look at predicted points. This was the kind of key metric that helped Jake bring in Ben White, and it worked so well last week. So maybe this week again, he's going to see someone on this list and think, you know what? They'll do me very nicely. Starting off top of the list, it is Cole Palmer with 14.3 points. Are we expecting anything different, really, other than Cole Palmer at the top?
No, not at all. I'm surprised Son's within 5 points of him, to be honest.
Yeah, I think I did a head-to-head comparison on one of my videos this week as well. And the data between the two, it's like every single thing Cole Palmer is massively clear of him on. It's like shots in the box. I think it was even like crosses he was beating him on. It's absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, it really is. No, he's been in great form. And yeah, I can't see anyone topping him for captaincy choices this week.
Cool. Let's move on to the Spurs kind of trio following that. Obviously, we touched on Son there briefly. Johnson with 9.2. Do you think maybe he's a player going under the radar?
Possibly. He's going under my radar though as well, unfortunately. So I'm reluctant to bring any Spurs players in. I've got Son, and Ped Porro makes sense because he can keep a clean sheet, but he also plays so high up. And he's a really good threat for Spurs. But attacking wise, I just feel like there's a chance any of them could get subbed off. I mean, I think you're even running that risk with Son at the moment. I have seen Postecoglou is happy to take anyone off if they're not performing well. So I'd be a bit reluctant to bring Johnson in, but I think the only thing that goes for him is simply the fact that he's one of two teams that are doubling this week. So he could be one of those rogue picks that people go for that benefits them massively.
Yep, 100%. Some other interesting names on here. Werner and Maddison. Have they entered your thought process at any point this week?
It's weird. I can't tell how this game's going to go on Sunday because on the one hand, Arsenal are not playing as poorly as Liverpool whatsoever, but on the other hand, it is a local derby and it's away from home. And so Spurs will want nothing more than to beat them. So they'll be all riled up. Maddison, Johnson, like you mentioned, they've all got that little bit of dickhead in them which could like push them forward with the passion, and may make up for their inferior quality because Arsenal's team is just on a roll at the moment. So maybe it's worth a punt, but once again, I think the only thing that's pushing me through there to say that it's worth a punt is the fact that they have, like you say, in previous streams, you've got that second chance when you go for a Spurs asset this week because they've got that double.
Yeah, 100%. Interestingly, Nicholas Jackson above Alexander Isak this week, obviously down mainly to the 2 games. Has it crossed your mind that maybe Jackson might be the one to go for over Isak?
No. He's just not clinical enough. Isak is so clinical. Yeah, I can't see past that. And Jackson has just missed so many chances. No, I think if you have the choice there, I think I would go for Isak.
All right, okay. Ped Porro is the only defender on this list, so I think that's kind of helping me make my decision which way to go in terms of a defender.
Yeah, mine too.
Yeah. Looking at this data, he is, getting more points than Anthony Gordon, Salah. So I think that's probably the sensible decision, the sensible transfer to make this week for Pedporo for our teams.
Yeah, I think that's what we're going to do.
All right, cool. Finally, finishing up, Salah above Anthony Gordon. It's an interesting one.
I don't know how to call that one. I think if you can get Gordon in, then great. I think taking Salah out, you wouldn't be seen as foolish for taking him out, but it could just work against you. Of course, it is the early kickoff, and so maybe West Ham will take one of Gandhi's notes in that one. But yeah, I don't know. I really don't know. I'm reluctant to bring Gordon in for Salah, but I would love to have Gordon in. I don't know. I think you're going to have to be the decision maker here.
It's a tough one, and I think there's a few factors. Obviously, Liverpool aren't playing well, but that data that we saw in the last section with them top of XG and West Ham bottom, West Ham have been getting battered by a lot of teams recently as well. It looks like David Moyes is kind of on the way out as well, so maybe players are down in tools for the season.
True. Everton have been getting battered though as well. They got battered by Chelsea.
Well, yeah.
Is to show that Liverpool can really make anyone look fucking good.
Well, I mean, Dyche binned the suit, didn't he? Really, so that helped it.
So that's what Moyes. Well, Moyes always wears a tracksuit. So
maybe he's going to go out and get that the suit that Sean Dyche had. You onto the Spider-Man scene where I think it's the Green Goblin bins his suit, and then it's like calling him a coward. I'll send it you afterwards.
This is poor Spider-Man.
It's not called Spider-Man. It's just a meme on Twitter. It's always like, it's who's the actor? Willem Dafoe.
I know who you mean. I just don't know that meme now.
Yeah, I'll send it you afterwards, and it's just like calling him a coward. It's like, you coward. So that's kind of the vibe I'm getting. Is just going to be a Sean Dyche shoot in the bin, and it's just. Yeah. Anyway. Moving past that, we're going to finish up and answer some of your guys' questions. We're also going to end Bedshirt of the Week. Let's end that right now. I think it's a pretty resounding winner, to be honest. Yeah, there it is. 32 votes, 90% for Salah, 9% for Saka. As always, the YouTube 1%, those pesky boys. Salah's taken home the vote for Bedshitter of the Week for this week. I think a very fair candidate. A lot of us were burnt. A lot of us did go with him for captain as well. So that one makes sense to me, and I can see why it happened. But let's finish up. Let's answer as many of your guys' questions before we do finish up today's stream. There will be a deadline stream tomorrow. I am back on YouTube and on TikTok as well. So if you do want your team reviewing or have any questions, do come along to that one at 9 o'clock tomorrow morning. Andrew has said, I'm wildcarding this week and it's looking like Haaland a non-starter again. Maybe worth chancing on Alvarez as the title could be over soon before he's fully fit. I don't think so. I think Haaland will be back. If he doesn't play this weekend or features on the bench, I think he'll be back for next weekend.
Agreed.
Cool. Someone else has asked, do you punt on Haaland out in the game week 35 wildcard?
I would say no, because he's going to come back and they've got that double game week. And if he's fit, he will play.
Cool. FN has said, I've been holding on for Johnson for this moment. Fingers crossed it works out, mate. The predicted points have got him doing well, so hopefully that one works out for you. What other questions have we got? Start Onana or Edison?
Onana.
Ooh, big call.
It's away to Forest, isn't it? Whereas United are at home to Burnley, and Burnley, I don't know. If I speak too much, I'm probably going to talk myself out of it. So I've said Onana. I'm going to stick with it. Are you saying Edison?
I think I go Edison. United defensively shambolic.
Yeah, fair enough. I think the more I thought about it, the more I was like, it's actually not such a straightforward answer.
No, it's a little bit of a difficult one. Thoughts on Cucurella? Double game week. Been playing recently for Chelsea. Yeah,
I mean, especially with Gusto not playing. He's not been quite as returning as well attacking as Gusto has. I think the only thing he's really done of late is win one of the penalties against United. And they're not easy games either. So I mean, it might be worth maybe going for a Pedporo, but if you've already got him, then maybe going down the alley that I'm going for with maybe a Newcastle defender.
Yeah, okay, I can get on board with that. Get Dan Burn or keep Muniz, however you want to pronounce it.
If you've got that transfer and there's no other options that you need to urgently look into, then I would say that's not a bad shout at all.
Okay,
Yeah,
cool. I thought there was going to be more there. There wasn't.
no. I think as much as Palace are in a really good run, they aren't sorted out at the back fully. You cannot rely on them to keep a clean sheet. And I feel like it worked in the free hit because they had 2 home games against sides that they could beat. The Newcastle one was a great result. The West Ham one, like we've said, West Ham are a bit shambolic, but I do think they're going to come a little bit short away to Fulham.
Okay, all right. Which 5 defenders to go for from Wildcard 35? Which 5 would you be recommending?
I would definitely have Porro.
Mm-hmm.
Would you put a City defender in there?
Yeah, I think I would.
Maybe a Kyle Walker. He got 2 assists last night, didn't he?
Yeah. I think Diaz is always a safe bet as well, isn't he? No Champions League anymore for them.
Yeah. And it may be worth you putting a Chelsea defender in there just for the sake of them having a double. And yeah, Dan Burn is not actually a bad shout either.
No, I think Dan Burn's a really good shout as well.
Everton also have Brentford, Luton and Sheffield next, so maybe a Branthwaite or Tarkowski.
Yeah, if you need that cheaper option. Van Heck as well as a cheap option. I know Brighton have been pretty poor, but they do have a double in 37 if you've still got the bench boost kicking about.
Yep.
Cool. FN has said, who's the more priority transfer this week, Fernandes or Foden?
Fernandes.
Okay, all right, okay. Not Foden after his brace, you're not tempted?
I'm just always a bit cautious with Foden, with like him being rotated, because they've just got the quality, whereas Bruno does he is the focal point of United.
All right, okay, cool, nice. FPL Shane, one of our other channel members, has said, morning, guys. Saka, Son, or Salah out first? No, sorry. He's saying Saka to either one of Son or Salah out first. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
And FM put Diaz missed the game against Brighton. Whoops. Yeah, I never said Diaz. That never came out of my mouth.
You said he was a terrible shout.
I said he was rubbish. I never said those words. So yeah, probably Carter Walker's the one to go for. FPL Jake, I'm handing over the channel anyway after this week. This disaster class. I'm handing it all over. That's it.
Don't worry. It'll be short-lived.
All right, guys. If we've got no other questions, I think we're going to leave it there. Like I said, there will be a deadline stream tomorrow at 9 o'clock in the morning. So if you do have any questions or want your team reviewing or just want to come and chat to me, do come along to that on YouTube and on TikTok. Any final comments for this game week, Jake?
Yeah, Wolves-Luton, highest scoring game.
Oh, I forgot highest scoring game. Wolves-Luton. Okay, let me have a look who's playing this week.
To be fair, probably Nick Jaws. I think Villa-Chelsea.
No, you haven't nicked mine, pal. I'm looking at Everton-Brentford. That honks of a goal fest. So I'm going to go that one.
Fair enough, but no, nothing else to add other than that.
Wonderful stuff. Thank you very much, guys, for watching, and hopefully see you tomorrow for the deadline stream. Bye-bye.